and eventually the process will be completed. Now, this agreement was reached on the 16th of May 2009. I was told that President Rajapaksa was abroad. He was attending the non-aligned movement in Jordan, that he was due to arrive in Sri Lanka on the 17th of May, early morning. And at the moment he arrives, that the National Security Council will go into a session, and that they will get the approval of the National Security Council, and it is only after that that this process can be implemented. So by around 6:37 or 8, I can't remember the exact time, but certainly early evening, early night or late evening, this agreement in principle had been reached. Then I suddenly got a call. So the point here, I think that what's crucial, the point I'm trying to make here is that by the latter part of the 16th of May 2009, at least to my personal knowledge, now there might have been various other efforts, and there have been various other efforts to try and broker some sort of surrender, but certainly to my own personal knowledge, as of the 16th of May 2009, between 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, the LTTE had agreed to completely surrender. The will to fight and resist was no longer there. But by 10 o'clock in the night, I am contacted by the LTTE saying that heavy artillery and firing was carrying on, and that hundreds and hundreds were dying unnecessarily. So when the intention of one of the sides to conflict have very clearly been articulated, that they no longer wish to fight and that they are laying down arms, and that they have even consented to a surrender, every single death that happened thereafter, there cannot be any other conclusion but the intent was to destroy in whole or in part. Right? Two warring sides. One side says that it is unconditionally laying down arms, has clearly demonstrated its intention to surrender, and at that time there was between 150,000 to 100,000. The figures given to me on the 16th was that between 150,000 to 100,000. The exact figures were impossible because people were dying. But it was during that, sort of bracket of figures that were quoted to me. So on the 16th, there were between 150,000 people to 100,000 people. By the 17th morning, around 11 o'clock, the government announces that 50,000 civilians, the entire civilian population within the Vani region, have crossed over to government-controlled areas, which means there is still a gap of 100,000, at least between 100 to at least 50,000, who are still unaccounted for the next following day on the 17th of May. And today we know, with all the official figures, that 154,000 people are unaccounted for, right? So the point is, this is the nature of the sort of crimes that we're talking of. And if we don't get the investigative process right from the very inception, you will never achieve justice. And very unfortunately, our organization has been critical of the Human Rights Council process since 2012. We have been very blunt and honest in saying that the agenda here has unfortunately been only to bring about a regime change and nothing else. And that process of regime change was completed in 2015 January, and since then, the members in this council have shown absolutely no intention of following through. This 2-year extension is only to give a grace period for this government to maintain its stability, and has nothing to do with justice or to get the government to deliver. It is in that context that we must look at what the victims and what the civil society are saying. If we don't, then we are condemned to repeat the mistakes and the sufferings that we are currently going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gajan, for